just today we're going to be going over downloading apps from the App Store. Again, our not so newcomers have seen this session, maybe learn something new. And we're going to, be interactive. This is the advanced session, the creme de la creme, right?
Yeah.
Of the program. So we're going to learn a lot and have a lot of fun.
Always learn something new.
Oh, yes, it's so important. Every day, if you learn just one new thing, you're better than you were yesterday, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Awesome. So you have 24 of you guys on. Again, thanks so much for getting on today's session and coming to learn and have fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in the apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. As you know, during our advanced sessions, they are a little, more interactive and such, but, during any Zoom meeting that you're in, if you, ever have a question or would like to say something, please utilize the raise hand feature. At the end of today's session, that's when we have our questions and our main Q&A. But if you have a question, make sure to remember to raise your hand. You tap on more, top right, and then you tap raise hand. So I would love everyone to raise their hand in Zoom for me, please. One that I know that you're here, that you're present, that you're ready to learn. All that good stuff. Can you tap on more and then raise hand? We got 25 folks on. I want to see a lot of hands up. Even there's even an emoji below raise hand, if you want to have some fun. As you can see, some examples here, you can raise your hand, or sometimes you could send in a heart or a laughing emoji or a celebratory one. Pretty cool. But I would love everyone to raise their hands. That's how you get our attention, because we can see it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of hands up, so I really appreciate that. I would love everyone to lower their hand for me, please. You hit lower at the bottom. Thank you for your heart, Anne. I see you. Yeah. You can hit lower at the bottom. That's how you lower your hand. Super simple. You can also tap on more and then it will say lower hand as well, but why tap more than you need to, right? So make sure you guys hit lower, okay? Yeah, and then, if you want to communicate with others non-verbally, so that way, you can send it to everyone or particular person. The chat is a great way to share a greeting, ask a question, congratulate, or encourage others. You tap more like you did before, then you tap on chat, okay? And then when you tap on chat, this window pops up. You tap over chat, type your message, and send it with that blue button. So I love everyone to send a chat in Zoom, with a hello, a good morning. Hope you had a great weekend, a prayer, any of those good things that you like to share, It's just nice to say hello. Sometimes, someone may be, having a conversation when you get on, and maybe you might not want to interrupt that conversation or for whatever reason or two, and you can say a hello in the chat and we can all see it. The messages pop up in the top right corner of your screen, right? And if you tap on a particular message, you'll be able to see and go to the chat immediately. Yeah, lots of good mornings and hellos. Love the emojis, Miss Bertha. You got to stay cool, right? Yes. We're all going to have a great day. Yep, again, if you have a question, I may be able to answer it during the session. Like if it pertains to that particular slide, I'm able to answer it because I see it, right? But we just want to make sure that we get through all the information. So, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat too. That way you don't have to remember it or write it down for later. You can just type it in the chat. Yes. So continue to utilize that today, okay? That's always a lot of fun. So today, again, we're going to be going over the App Store and downloading apps, okay? The App Store is Apple's one-stop shop for content for the iPad and iPhone and other Apple devices. Okay, this is basically what the iPad's all about, using apps or applications to do whatever we'd like, because apps may be developed by Apple, like, such as the Reminders app or the Calendar app or like the podcast app we went over last Friday or the Freeform app. Those are apps developed by Apple that come with the device. Or popular apps could be developed by different companies like Facebook or Microsoft or other independent companies and things of that nature. So pretty much anybody can create an app for the App Store if they, have the skills, right? Since the App Store launched in July 2008, over 2 million apps have been available to download, and Apple customers have downloaded more than 100 billion apps collectively. So if you can think, 2008, 2023, it's been 15 years. So in 15 years, over 100 billion apps were downloaded across all devices. And that's just crazy to think about, right? But just a fun fact. Next up, we're going to watch this video just on a little bit of the history of the App Store, some maybe like challenges they faced, I guess. But, there are always some things that need to be worked out. But this is just a fun history of what, the App Store came from and what it is kind of like today. Okay. So, if you need to grab something to eat, something to drink, please do so. And I hope you guys enjoy the video.
Just a couple months ago, the App Store turned 12 years old, and in that time, it's completely changed the way we think about mobile devices. I mean, I remember buying
This video is a few years old, not too old, but definitely some great content in there.
iPod to listen to music, a cell phone to make calls and send text, and a digital camera to take photos. Every device essentially served one purpose, and you were stuck carrying around all these separate products. But the App Store in 2008 changed all that. Suddenly you had this magical piece of glass called an iPhone that could be transformed into just about anything. So in this video, I'm going to go through the App Store's history and point out some of its biggest changes and milestones.
You see what it used to look like and then what it looks like pretty much nowadays. That's definitely an update right there, right?
So you get an idea of how it's evolved over the past 12 years. This is Greg with Apple Explained, and I want to thank Raid for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to help decide which topics I cover, make sure you're subscribed, and voting polls like this one will show up in your mobile activity feed. Now, the early days of the App Store were simpler times. There were no
Look at this really one of the first few iPhone iterations, and look how the App Store looked. So archaic, right? It's black. It wasn't too flashy because you see some colors, but it just looks so much better nowadays. We all got to come from somewhere, right?
subscriptions, no in-app purchases, and no virtual currencies. There were just free apps and paid apps, that's it. And once you paid for an app, you got everything it offered, including free updates from the developer. Now, maybe my nostalgia is impairing my judgment, but I really think this was the golden age of the App Store. Developers were creating incredible high-quality games, productivity apps, and even free apps that behaved exactly as described. Some of the most popular paid apps of this era were Koi Pond, Texas Hold'em, Super Monkey Ball, Cro-Mag Rally, and Enigmo, while some of the top free apps were Pandora Radio, Tap Tap Revenge, Shazam, Google Earth, and Lightsaber Unleashed. Now, because in-app purchases weren't available, developers often released light versions of their paid apps that customers could download for free as a way to test out the app before making that big $7 purchase of a game like Labyrinth. And if you want to be part of the largest
Yeah. So, an app could be 99 cents, a dollar, $2, $3, just depending on the different apps. Even, to this day, there are still some paid apps or, on the App Store that can cost anywhere from, a dollar to sometimes $15, just depending on what it is.
All right, now in 2009, Apple introduced a feature to the App Store that would change the platform forever, and it was in-app purchases. While this capability was popular among developers, it was quite controversial among users, who were afraid app content would be hidden.
Yeah, basically content inside the free app that you could purchase, kind of like virtual coins. Like if you played Candy Crush before, they offer you to pay a dollar for whatever power up or something. I think that's what it basically an in-app purchase is. Sometimes it's cosmetic, sometimes other things of nature.
Behind paywalls, requiring additional purchases to receive an app's full experience. And while that did happen, it turned out to be even worse than that. I'm actually going to dedicate a whole video explaining how in-app purchases ruined the App Store, so be sure you're
Ruined in
subscribed for that.
quotation.
But in short, it spawned a new category of freemium apps which were free to download but cost money to play. It encouraged pay-to-win apps which give users who spend the most money on virtual currency or items a competitive advantage, and it ruined the straightforward experience of downloading a high-quality app and having it just work. I recently downloaded a teleprompter app, and it required a $10 per month subscription. So then I had to delete it and sift through the App Store to find something that not only did what I wanted, but didn't hide its features behind an unwarranted paywall. I think everyone has a story like that, and it's primarily because of Apple adding in-app purchases. But it wasn't all bad, because in 2010, Apple released the iPad, and its success
Very first
was in
iPad
large
in
part
2010.
due to the App Store. It was the first time Apple released a new category of product that would feature an app marketplace from day one. So to make sure developers had enough time to create custom optimized apps for the iPad's larger display, Apple introduced the device in January 2010.
You see, that was the iPod right here, released in 2001. And here's the iPhone in 2007, and there's the iPod in 2010. So I didn't have an iPhone until about like 2015, 16. So I wasn't aware of this until I actually learned more about the App Store. But it's and cool to see where it started out from.
But didn't release it until about 2 months later. That way developers had time to create thousands of apps custom built for the iPad and have
Yeah,
them
the
ready for
iPad
download
has its
on launch
own
day.
app
And the
store.
reason this was so important is easy to understand looking back, but wasn't so clear at the time. When any company releases a product, customers evaluate how much value it offers, and the more things it can do, the more customers willing to pay. That's exactly why the iPhone sold so well in 2007, despite being twice as expensive as other smartphones. And it's why the iPad was a runaway success from day one. There were over 3,000 apps available on the iPad at launch, with that
Could you
number
imagine
growing
a
to
whole new
50,000
device
by the
with
end of the
3,000
year.
apps?
Now, in 2012, the App Store received a modest redesign as well as new browsing features.
Yeah, 2012. Looks a little better, more colorful. I like the icons, but it's still mostly black and white. But this was as you can see by the screenshots, what it looked like on the iPod. But because of how new it was, this is kind of what it generally looked like across all different devices.
The Categories tab was replaced by Top Charts, and Genius, which offered personalized app recommendations, received its own tab. Lastly, Apple introduced app banners. These appeared in Safari and gave users a shortcut to download a company's app, which might be easier to use since it's optimized for the iPhone instead of browsing a mobile website.
Yeah, and that still is a feature to this day. If you're ever on Safari on your iPad and you go to a certain website, there may be a banner with their app that you can then tap on and instantly go to the App Store and download it. So For Giant, if you go to Giant's website, I'm pretty sure the little banner for the Giant app will pop up, for example. So that still is in function to this day.
In 2013, the App Store received a significant redesign thanks to iOS 7, but also some new features like Near Me, which displayed the most popular apps in your area. Also, the Genius feature that got its own tab a year earlier was removed from the App Store entirely.
Now we're getting somewhere. Now it's, instead of black and white, now it's just white. It looks a lot more clean with the blue, and the icons look pretty good. So they're getting somewhere.
Now, by 2014, the App Store offered over 1.2 million apps, and this caused some problems. It became even harder for developers to reach users, and it was difficult for users to find a specific
So many
app
apps,
since
you
there were
guys.
just so many to look through. Apple tried to remedy this by replacing the Near Me tab with Explore, which made it easier for users to find apps they were interested in, as well as give smaller developers a better chance at being discovered. Apple also added the App Bundles feature, which allowed developers to sell multiple apps at once for a discount. The next big App
still to
Store
this day.
update came in 2016 with
I've
iMessage
gotten one
apps.
before.
This actually functioned as a separate mini App Store and allowed for some pretty incredible functionality right within iMessage. For example, users could play Words with Friends or download sticker packs all within the iMessages app. This capability still exists today, and it's a big reason why iMessage is considered by many to be the best messaging app in the world. Now, this update also brought search result ads to the App Store. For the first time, developers could pay to have their app appear at the top of a user's search results for certain keywords. This not only gave Apple another way to make money from the App Store,
Hey,
but also
these
gave
people that
smaller
gotta make
developers a
this stuff
chance to
gotta
be
eat too.
seen, instead of their app always being buried
So
at
I
the
think
bottom.
that's a good thing.
Now, in 2017, the App Store received its most significant update ever. Instead of
Yeah, it basically looks like this now. In 2017, there have been some minor tweaks since then, but pretty much, still to this day, it's what it looks like.
focusing on top charts and popular new releases, it emphasized curation and editorial content. Original stories, in-depth interviews,
Yeah,
and
look how
helpful tips
dynamic
are
it is.
featured in
It
the
looks
Today tab and updated
clean,
daily.
chic.
This offered users a completely new experience when visiting the App Store. It helped to give apps context. Instead of simply showing the most downloaded apps of the day, users could find a collection of apps to help them video chat with colleagues or keep them occupied during coffee breaks. It was a much more intuitive approach to app discovery that not only felt more relevant, but also offered users more value than before. And the fact that this is still how the App Store is organized today in 2020 is proof
this
that
video
Apple's
was made
focus
about
on
3 years
editorial
ago.
content was the right move. Now, there has been one prominent change since 2017, and that's the new Apple Arcade tab, which, as you probably already know, costs $5 a month and offers access to hundreds of exclusive gaming apps. Alright guys, thanks for watching till the end. If you want more
Yep, so just some fun facts about the App Store and kind of how it is today. So I'll be going over the App Store, the different navigation tools, and how to actually download an app, okay? So again, the App Store features over 1.8 million apps available for download. There are, of course, free and premium apps, or apps that cost, money, or apps that are free or that you pay that also have in-app purchases. So purchases you can make within the app, that's like virtual currency, things of that nature, cosmetics, anything you buy within an app. There are curated app lists based on current events and social trends, tutorials and tips for popular apps. Like the video said, there's editorialized content in the Today tab. So actually articles about the apps themselves, so you can get some context before you download them. And it's available in over 175 countries. So basically anywhere in the world that you have, an internet connection and your Apple ID, you can download an app, which is pretty great. In the App Store, again, you can discover new apps, featured stories, tips and tricks, and again, in-app events. And you need, of course, an internet connection to download that app and your Apple ID to use the App Store. You cannot download apps if you do not know your Apple ID password. So it's really important that you commit that to memory and especially if you have written down somewhere, so that way you can easily download apps at your own leisure. Okay. This is what the home screen of the App Store looks like. So of course, the first step is to find the App Store. It's this blue icon. It kind of looks like the letter A, and it should be pretty much on the first screen of your iPad. Again, everyone's is a little different, but the App Store, it comes with the iPad, so it's usually in the first few screens of your device. And you tap on it, and that's how you access it, okay? Just like I did. And it takes you to their Today page, okay? Again, you'll be taken to the App Store home screen, which you just saw, and again, which you can view here on the right-hand side. So this is what your App Store will look like. This is what mine looked like on Sunday, April 9th of this year. So again, quite a few months ago, a half a year ago, actually, and it still looks like this to this day, but with different content. Today, we'll be going over how to navigate the App Store and again, how to download an app from the App Store. And of course, at the end, I'm here to help you guys out with downloading apps that you might want to download. So just keep that in mind, okay? When you're in the App Store, when you first open it, that top right button, that is the account button. You can view your App Store account information, your purchase history, and apps that require or have completed an update recently. So if I would recommend that, maybe once every 2 weeks, once every week if you can, to check to see if any of your apps need an update. That's how you start an update of the specific apps on your iPad. You go to your App Store, and again, at the top right of your device, you'll see the account button. It'll probably have your initials in here or your picture if you have one for your Apple ID. When I tap on it, it takes me to, again, my account information. I can look at what I've purchased or downloaded in the past, any subscriptions, any notifications that I have for my App Store, and the settings for them. So anytime a new app drops, I'll get a notification. You can edit that from there. You see that right now I don't have any apps that I need to update, but if it did, it would say like update for that app or update all right here, where it says updated recently. So this is where you check to see if you need an update. I did mine about today actually. You see it updated today. So just make sure you check it out right here if you need to download or update any apps. Yeah. So that's the account button. If you would like to find apps in the App Store, that navigation bar at the bottom is going to be the main way that you navigate throughout. The first one is again the Today button. So the button that you start off with when you first open the App Store. You can browse featured stories, apps, and in-app events. So there's just a ton of content just to browse through, look at, and you may learn something new. The next button here on the navigation bar, of course, it says games. It's the games button. There's action, adventure, racing, puzzles, more. There's a ton of games out there for you to enjoy. I like that. I like myself some puzzle games, maybe some match threes. I like me some word games and card games. So pretty much anything that you like, or maybe you played when you were, when you were a kid or younger, or that you really like, it's probably on the App Store in some way, so you can experience it on your iPad, which is quite interesting. Right here, the next one is the apps button. So, of course, certain apps like productivity apps and streaming apps, things of that nature, you can explore new releases and browse by category. So again, if I go back to my App Store right here, the Today section, you can see popular iPad apps, must play games, standout App Store picks. So look, 10 great kids apps. You can tap on it and look at the different selection they have. So I see some right here that I know of. These are pretty good kids apps. So if you ever have anybody over, grandkids, or you could maybe play them or show them those kind of apps. Creativity apps is pretty cool. You can see here, like this one is $13. It's probably like a more Procreate is a more like professional, like drawing, landscape thing. You see Minecraft, there's Mario Kart. a hide and seek game. My goodness. Play as a family game. Look, Uno. I have Uno already downloaded, but we actually did that before, one of our advanced sessions. But as you can see, there's a lot of content here in just the Today tab. Fun games, things of that nature. So there's a ton of stuff right here that I would just look through. The game section, of course, different games right here. And then this one, there's an event. This is Post Night 2, an RPG, a role-playing game. That one looks pretty fun. They have this one called Great Games for iPad. Yeah, like Fruit Ninja's pretty fun. I really like Hearthstone and Plants vs. Zombies. Those are fun. Of course, Uno. There's a lot of stuff that you can take advantage of. So there's more games we're playing now, must play games based on my last downloads, which ones that I would like to play. Look, play with words. That one looks cool. So it's just, you can look through it and see what's fun. Popular games, editor's choice, best new games. As you can see, if it's free, it'll say get. If there's a cost to it, you'll see the cost on the little button. This one's $4.99. The one below it is get, so that one's free. But it shows you if there's the possibility of in-app purchases. You'll see that right next to the get button. But look, tons of games. Even by categories, look, you can see all, you can hit see all right here and look at the type of games. So like puzzle, I like puzzle games. And there is just a ton of puzzle games that I can try. So even look, top free puzzle games. I would just see what's out there and I would like. Ooh, Fish Jam. Fish Jam. I remember playing this when it was a computer game. So some of these have a lot of great history to them, now being on the iPad. The next button at the bottom right here is the apps button. You see that there are different apps, just regular apps available. So like must-haves, of course, like YouTube, if you ever heard of TikTok, it's right here. Some streaming apps like Paramount. Duolingo, we went over that before. You can learn languages. All these different apps. So top free apps. Again, if you have Netflix, you can put Netflix on your iPad. Color and book apps, best apps for iPad OS 17. There's just a lot out here for you to try out. I definitely love myself some games. So, but if there's ever anything, maybe your favorite store has an app, you can look at the deals or sales, things of that nature. So there's a ton out here that you can take advantage of. Again, same thing, you can go at the bottom and you can adjust it by category. So if I'm looking for, let's see, food and drink, right here is some food and drink apps that I could take advantage of, like this recipes one, or maybe I'll get the New York Times Cooking. That one's pretty cool. I could check out Food Network Kitchen. So all types of different things available in this app store, you guys. It's just all about having fun. The next button after that is the arcade button. So like the video said, there is over 200 premium games from Apple Arcade, which is $5 a month plus tax, that offer no ads or in-app purchases. You just get the game and get the update. So I myself do have Apple Arcade. I pay myself whatever, $29 a month. And if a premium game comes out that I like, then I can download it. But it is a recurring subscription. But I can show you what it looks like through my app store, and it's up to you if you'd like to take advantage of it. And then last but definitely not least, and I think is the most important button in the app store, is the search button. Basically, you can search for any type of app by using any keyword or topic, category. It's just like, the internet. When you search, you can search anything. So same thing in this app store, okay? So if I hit the arcade button, of course, if you don't have Apple Arcade, you won't be able to view what's in there. But as you can see, there's a lot of like high quality games out here. I like the graphics are just, I think they're amazing. And, I played a lot of games and still do as a, now. So I like taking advantage of, these games. They're really fun, no ads, but it's about $5 a month. So it's up to you if you want to take advantage of these different games. And certainly last but not least is the search button right here at the bottom right. Not sure if you can hear me. I think my my app store is a little frozen. Let me make sure. Let me see. Let me see what's going on. Yes, I think I'm back, you guys. Sorry about that. Yes, that Apple Arcade. When I got there, my iPad definitely went frozen. But I appreciate your patience. Again, last but not least is the search button. When you hit the search button, again, you can search for games, apps, stories, more. There's different suggestions right here. Some suggested ones right here as well. Discover, suggested, if you want to search for anything. So again, I can search for cooking and just put that in, hit the enter. And then lots of stuff regarding cooking, like games and things of that nature will pop up. I can also, if I like sports, I can type in sports. You see, like, I can get the Yahoo Sports app or this app called The Score. There's some games here as well. If you like, again, you can just type in like puzzle games. You don't even have to like look through that library of different things. You can just type it in right here. So if I type in puzzle games, again, my app store is being a little slow, you guys. So appreciate your patience. But look, more puzzle games available, some that we've covered. They also give you some suggestions right here. Like it says jigsaw, brain, solving, matching, word, escape. You see that in the middle, you all? If I tap on jigsaw, that's like a filter. So only like jigsaw items will pop up. Ooh, but it's taking a second. Here you go. Everyday jigsaw puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. There's just so much right here. They're popular nowadays, especially when COVID came out. Sorry, you guys. It's saying I need to reboot my device. Let's see. So yeah, that's basically the search feature on your app store. Oops. Sorry about that. I think I'm definitely experiencing some technical difficulties today, so I appreciate your patience. Yeah, I think we should get to go. So basically that bottom portion of the App Store is the main thing that you can use to navigate when you're inside of the App Store. You can use Siri to search the App Store. So you can ask Siri to search apps in the App Store. For example, you can say search the App Store for blank apps or search the App Store for games. So of course, because we're on Zoom, I can't showcase that to you now, but I can do it on my phone, and you should be able to hear the result. Hey Siri, search the App Store for games.
Sure thing. Games coming right up.
And if you guys see on my phone, it took me right to the games on my App Store. So if I can spotlight myself really quick, you guys, it took me right here to my App Store with the games, which is pretty convenient. So same thing on your iPad, you can take advantage of Siri and search for whatever you'd like for the App Store. If you want to get more information on an app, you simply just tap on it and you can view a lot of different information. So this one right here on the right-hand side is a game called Subway Surfers. You can view screenshots and previews of the apps. You can view in-app events that are going on. So, you know, it's about to be Halloween soon. So there's a lot of apps maybe have a Halloween themed event going on, which is quite fun. You can view ratings and reviews of different apps, the compatibility with other Apple devices, file size, and a lot more. You can also share the app with friends or family or whoever with the share button right here when you're in the App Store. And again, you can share it through iMessage or mail, etc. So again, if I go to my App Store, and I just go to my Today tab. Let's go to, let's see what app I want to download. What is here? Here's a game, Cut the Rope. That's a very old game. It's been in existence since 2010. So you see, if I tap on that app, you see it takes you to this page where again you can see screenshots, even like videos. But like a preview of the game. So this, look, this is pretty fun. So that's a video, like these are different screenshots of the game. We try to get the candy to the little monster. So yeah, you can view different, what it looks like on iPad or even iPhone too, which is pretty interesting. So you can see what it looks like on other devices. Again, right here, you can view the size, the language, the developer. If you tap on the developer, you can see the other apps that they have out as well, which is pretty interesting. You see that it has almost 250,000 ratings and it has a 4.8 star review out of 5, which is pretty great. Just more information about the app, different events. So right now it's a super nom event. Different ratings and reviews, achievements, more information about the app, and more like it. So suggestions. So look, there's Cut the Rope Experiments, Cut the Rope Time Travel, all these different ones in different styles. So Angry Birds, Sugar, that was a good game. Snail Bob. So this is basically just more information about the app before you even download it, okay? Oh yeah, and then if I hit the share button right here, again, you see it says Cut the Rope on the right-hand side. You guys should see the Apple share button. If I wanted to, again, share it through mail or copy the link to it, even, again, put it in a freeform board or put it in notes, for example. But yeah, if I email it, so look, it has the link to the app, even with the picture right here. And then once the other person opens it, they can taps on the link, they can instantly go to the App Store and download it themselves, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, share your apps with your friends. Any apps that we go over, you can share it right from the App Store and you know, share the knowledge, right? If you want to get or buy or download an app, if you tap the price. If the app is free, it will say get, okay? If you see a cloud-looking icon, this blue icon instead of the price, that means you've already purchased it before and they've deleted it for one reason or another and can download it again for, of course, free. If required, you need to authenticate, of course, that you're trying to download that app or purchase the app with, of course, your Touch ID or your iPad passcode or Apple ID password if you don't have Touch ID set up on your device. But you'll need that some type of verification. And once you input that, you wait for it to download, and then you'll be able to open it. Congrats, you have successfully downloaded an app from the App Store. So again, if I'm in here in the App Store and I want to download this app, I need to hit Get. And once you tap on it, you'll see it starts to circle. And in my case, I have my Touch ID available. So I just use my fingerprint to authenticate that. But you can do that, or your iPad passcode, or if you don't have either of those set up quite yet, it'll ask for your Apple ID password. But you see it's downloading. If I go to the next, you see the next available space on my iPad. These first three screens didn't have a space, but there is one right here, so it comes right here on my device. So there you go, there's Cut the Rope. And as soon as it's done downloading, you simply tap on it and it opens. And of course, for any app, you just make sure you follow the prompts on the screen and you address them. That's quite fun, you know, especially if it's your first time ever experiencing a certain app. You know, certain things you got to verify, like this one, verify your age, etc. So you do that, whatever age, doesn't really matter. You get a cutscene. But there's things of that nature. So you can play the game or use the app as soon as it's downloaded. Okay, so pretty easy. Take it. You see, I have over like 8 screens of different apps. So never think there's too many. These are all of my different apps on my iPad. So please take advantage of the App Store, and you can find pretty much anything on there and enjoy using your iPad. So yeah, again, today we basically went over what the App Store is, a little bit of the history of it, what each button does on the navigation bar, and how to actually download that app. So now I'll be, going through the hands and some